Alstroemeria. Alstroemeria. This week's flower that we're painting is a tongue twister to say, but it is the sweetest flower, and I had so much fun creating a card out of it. So join with me, use a few colors, and we're going to take this lovely summer flower, make a lovely watercolor sketch with our Micron pens and just a couple of colors, pinks and greens mostly. And if you're painting on a watercolor card like I am, you're going to have a beautiful piece of art to send to someone in the mail and brighten up their day. So I'm Melissa with The Creative Season, and I'm so excited to paint with you this week. Okay, welcome back to another weekly flower painting episode on The Creative Season. So we're going to paint a bouquet. I know we've been doing flower portraits, but I just thought, let's paint a bouquet. I was kind of itching for it this week. So I had found also some really fun, this is a watercolor stationery. So it's got the indent right here, and it's watercolor paper. I could just fold it and then mail it off. And I thought, well, this is fun. Let's go ahead and grab this and make a card. And so if you have some watercolor stationery, go ahead and pull that out, and it's really fun. I think you can get several note cards, watercolor note cards for, gosh, $11, $12 on Amazon. I'll include a link below to the brand that I like and that I've often got. I think it's either Strathmore or Canson, but I'll include the link below. But again, went ahead and sketched out. We are painting. I had to write it down because, yes, this is a flower that I'm going to have a hard time saying the name. Alstroemeria. Alstroemeria. Isn't that lovely? I think it is. And so beautiful, lovely flowers. We are going to go ahead and paint these beautiful flowers. And I wanted to you to notice a few things. First of all, look how from this stem you have this bouquet of flowers just erupting, which I think is really, really interesting. So instead of them all being individually stemmed all and coming down, individual flowers with their own stems, they're actually breaking off almost like a little floral tree, right? Isn't that beautiful? So I thought that was really intriguing. The leaves are coming out, and we have got another set of leaves coming out. So what I've done is I have went ahead and sketched. So please just do a quick sketch, and there are 5 flowers. So they're all of different shapes. They're not quite so elegant as, for example, the stargazer lily, right? Or the birds of paradise flower that we painted earlier this month. I think it's fascinating that we have a flower here. Each one has their own personality, and this one really seems like they are more of your, like, let's just celebrate the everyday kind of flower, right? Let's just celebrate today for being wonderful and beautiful. And I love that. Like, I feel like this is a bouquet of flowers that you would pick up and put like a big bow around and give them to your friend, and just fun. So just a really fun flower. So after you've sketched, and my sketch is messy as you can tell, we're going to come in now and we're going to start laying down some pink. And sometimes when I travel, I go ahead and put my paint in empty makeup containers. Like that was an old eye cream container. Just a wonderful way to travel with paints, because if you've ever tried to fly, for example, with a tube of paint, of watercolor paint, it will explode. It certainly will. So just be aware of that. I'm going to go just do some outlining here. And I'm going to go and get some water. And this is just a light flower. It really is embracing a lot of the summer colors, where in like the idea of color theory, when you look at nature and look at the way nature responds to summer, and here in the northern hemisphere, everything just gets lighter. When it heats up, everything gets lighter because the sun just wears us all down, right? Everything gets lighter, and we rest because we just don't have the energy that we had in the springtime, and neither do the flowers. And I think that's so, so fun. So you can see here too that unlike the portraits where I was really paying attention to exquisite detail, I am not doing quite so much here. I'm going to pay attention to distinguishing characteristics of the flowers, but really I am just wanting to paint a really fun and lighthearted sketch here. And I'm not so concerned about being exact. So in some of these, for example, in this flower, I can see where it's opening up and I have those splatters. So I'm going to go ahead and do, it almost looks like paint splatters, right? We're just going to go like this. I have not really drawn in a lot of the excess leaves like this. I really should have a leaf coming out kind of like that. So we're just going to bring that leaf out, so to speak, and this leaf over here. There we go. And then I'm going to come back over here and then just bring in the inside of this leaf as it curves out. And over here I painted another one in. We do have actually quite a bit of green. We also have, for example, the stamens, those little guys that are sticking out, and I need to add those in a couple places. Like I'll just add in a couple here. Don't add it in where it's wet. Your pens will never be the same again. So we'll do that right here. I'll add that in. There we go. And I've got a couple over here. Okay, so I'm going to come back in with a little bit of green and start working now on my stem work. And then we'll do a little bit of green in here too. I am going to mix in some yellow. And I've got a mix of yellow, cadmium, and I think my lemon yellow got mixed in there, to be perfectly honest. Mix that in with a little bit of Hooker's green and a lot of water. And I'm going to just start painting first all of my stems going down to that base stem, the foundational stem. And you'll notice too that each of the flowers, they have like almost a protective bud right here. So I'm going to pay attention to that, and that is darker. So what I'll do with that, so I'm going to just take some of that Hooker's green without any yellow in it. We're just going to dab that up here and let that settle in. I will come in and just put a little bit of green where the little pollinator, the little stamens are sticking up. Ow, I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's looking lovely. We even have some green. It's really interesting right in here. You can see the green on the petals, right? Isn't that fascinating? So I am going to go ahead and just paint in some of that green as well. Just reflecting today, was feeling, just tired, the heat, the day, the week. It's been busy, all the things, right? But then also realizing just like how wonderful it is to come and paint. How grateful I am that we get to paint. It's just easy to quickly come in, creating in the margins, the time that we have. There's just so many things to be thankful for, right? No matter how challenging life is. And I do really love that I can paint with you guys every week. This has just been a fun habit for the last several months of creating that weekly video and exploring all sorts of florals to paint. I've got some fun new things that are going to be coming out, including some new stickers and possibly some new stationery this summer. Floral, of course. And it's such a gift to create. It's such a gift to notice the beauty in the world and then to capture it on paper. I've also got some mixed media things and journaling, so we're going to do some really interesting things in July that are just a little bit different, right? Shake things up, still very floral themed. I've got a really fun idea. I have a bunch of what I would call bad art. Just the flowers that just did not turn out. And we're going to be doing a fun project with those because I typically keep things because I know I can always use it for something. And for nothing else, an example of what not to do. But then I have a really fun collage project. It's going to be a blast. And so if you're like me and you've kept a lot of art, you're just not sure what to do with it, whether it's bad or it's good and you just, again, have it lying around, we're going to have some fun projects. All right, I'm going to take pink with a smaller brush, and I'm now going through and adding pink where I want it to be bolder because we like bold paintings, right? Even though these flowers are fair, they do have a pop to them, and so we want to really emphasize. And it's fun just to kind of create a sense, a place of center, right, where the flower really pops, where your eye just goes right to that flower, for example, or right to the color. Also creating a sense of some shadowing too. So I'm kind of come right in there, adding into some tips of my flowers where I just can see where I want to add a little bit more detail. And I am doing a bit more outlining. I'm not trying to color anything in, as you can see. I had a little bit of mauve left over from the Stargazer painting in a corner, so I'm just going to add that in too, because I do see some different colors in here. Just looking at this one, Now too, red and green, as you know, will create that brown. So another thing we can do is get your brush real wet, add a little bit of green, come back over here. We're going to pull that down this way, but then you can let some of that pink seep in, and we can catch some of the different color of browns that are also here. I like to notice too on my stems, you know, where is it? I see some variation of color. I do see some browns, for example, some shadowing. So I can just introduce a little bit of pink and pull that down into the stems. I don't want to include another color. In fact, we're using very few colors on this, and I love that. And even look at how that pink in the leaves really brings out another look, some complementary colors, right? And I'm going to take a darker green, the hooker's green by itself, and I am going to go ahead and create a darker leaf, because if all these flowers were seated, or they're above, right, this leaves, so we're going to have some natural shadowing that's going on as well. So who are you going to be writing your letter to? If you're creating a card, and you could always, if you have just perhaps a little piece of watercolor that you're painting this on, you can always just stick this on a card, right? On a cardstock and mail it to someone. I know I have resumed some of my letter writing. I got a couple out this week, and I'm thinking, who do I want to surprise with a letter of encouragement, print out some of the photos from events this past year and stick them in a letter. That's always fun to receive, right? Because so many of us, we just have our photos on like our phone. But isn't it nice to get an actual picture? Now, if this feels thick to you, and it definitely feels thick to me, I'm going to just take some water. Oopsie, I didn't mean to do that. And I'm going to just loosen this up like that. And just let that water, I want to leave some of the white spots, because that's how the watercolor dances. But I don't necessarily want hard lines. So again, letting that paint move around, and if you wanted to grab a little bit of yellow, go for it. You know, I'll just can pick up a little bit of yellow and just like set it in there. You know, or you could do that with the pink and set the pink in there. Both will look really nice. Okay, I'm actually about ready to stop because I don't want to overdo this, and I think this looks really pretty as it is. I'm just going to go ahead and grab some more pink and do just a little bit more in these beautiful petals. Now I've also left a little bit of space right here, so if I wanted to, I could put a little quote. I could write happy birthday or thinking of you or something like that on my handmade homemade stationery. And so there's lots of options, and if you want to as well, you could even do a little bit of splattering on this, and that would look really quick. So cute, especially if I'm going to put some words. So I might take like a pink and just do a bit of splattering down here and some splattering up here, and since I want to move the color around, I'll pick up some green and just a little bit of splattering. Use your smallest brush so it's just light, it's nothing too heavy, and you certainly, that's just something if you want to add a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of wildness. Now the other thing you might do over here on the other side is if you wanted to do like a little heart, you can certainly, you know, put your name in there. So I can just put a heart right there and come back in with my pink, and then just add a bit of pink right there and let it all blend together. And then I can put by Melissa or whatnot, and that will be really, really cute. And this is lovely, just a beautiful stationery. And we're continuing to get better with our floral painting, and we have been painting so many kinds of flowers. I'm just in love with all of these gorgeous flowers and so enjoying painting with you. So thankful. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I will see you next week with more of painting beautiful, lovely flowers.